What's going on, guys? Playbox here. We're back for another Dragon Ball Legends video. In this one, we are going over the top 10 best units in the game currently in this meta. Now, Beast Gohan did just drop, and he has, like every new unit apparently, has completely changed PvP and the whole meta and everything about it. And so I think this is a perfect time to do a tier list. It's been a solid minute, maybe actually it's been a month since I did my last one when Cooler dropped, and I think it's only fitting for us to do one when Beast Gohan drops. I'm probably going to be doing a Legends Limited tier list by the end of the year once we get all the Legends Festival stuff. But for now, we're going to be doing a top 10 tier list because these ones are more indicative of how the meta is compared to a Legends Limited tier list, where yes, there are a lot of Legends Limited units that are at the top. There's also a lot of Ultra units that are there, as well as some regular Sparkings that actually can fit in the meta there. So I think top 10 is much better. So the way I have it categorized is I have a best unit slot here. Spoiler alert, there's only one, and I have Z, S, 1, and 2. There's gonna be a couple of units within these tier lists, these tiers, and then I have an honorables mention just for units that are worth mentioning, right? So yeah, without further ado, let's hop in straight into this. I'm just gonna straight up throw all the honorables mentions right now, and it's going to be this Piccolo, this Dragon Fist Goku, and this future Gohan. Now this might be a bit confusing maybe, but I'll go over why I think this is the case. Piccolo is actually a very good unit, but obviously I don't think he's up to par with the other two that was released alongside him. You could argue that he's top 10 just solely based off of the teams he's going to be being run on, but I feel like just his damage is okay, but nothing crazy. From my experience, I've run a 8-star Piccolo. His damage is good in certain spots. He's good for some burst damage, but it's nothing crazy, and he is a very fragile unit. He's almost as fragile. I think he's pretty fragile, just as much as Dragon Fist Goku, to be honest. So that's why we have him in the honorables mention and not in the top 10. Dragon Fist Goku is still a really good unit. The reason he's actually even in this honorables mention, I wasn't even thinking of putting him, but the reason he's here is just because he's green, and Beast Gohan just dropped, and he does a pretty good job at doing damage to it, and just overall being a very good unit. And then future Gohan, I have him there just because the only reason I have him here is just because he synergizes well with Gohan and Pan, and just he's a pretty solid option on the hybrids team right now, as well as he just got his platinum equipment, which helps out a lot. And overall, just his utility, disruption, support. We already know future Gohan, right? So that's the only reason why he's here. So let's just actually hop into the actual top 10 here, and we're gonna start off number 10 with MU. Actually, no, oops, sorry. The top number 10 spot goes to the androids. This might be a bit shocking for a lot of people. I don't think this is too controversial. I think a lot of people would consider the droids outside of the top 5. Probably some casuals still consider him top 3, but the droids, there's just too many good units that have dropped since their release. And to be honest, the droids don't really fit on that many meta-relevant team. Like, you can obviously argue powerful opponent, but powerful opponents, their lack of equipments, and just honestly, it's just hyper-focused on Cooler and Broly, and obviously Beast Gohan just completely shuts that down. I don't know, the droids, even their damage hasn't been too spectacular recently, and obviously their defense is nothing crazy either, but it's just their lack of teams, and on their main team, which is powerful opponent, the lack of equipment is definitely detrimental there. It's just how the last couple of months in terms of power creep has just been completely bonkers, and it's pretty crazy to see that the androids have fallen this much, considering how devastating they were on release. So they're going to be on number 10, and obviously I kind of spoiled it, but UI Goku, sorry, is going to be number 9. Right now, UI Goku's teams are just non-existent. God Key's completely garbage. Universe Survival Saga, we don't even talk about that. Despite it got a decent buff with Jiren's platinum equipment, we don't talk about that. They just don't want to buff God Key for whatever reason. Like, it makes no sense. Saiyans is still there, which is good, but just being a red unit now, especially with all the Beast Gohans running around, is just it's so crazy how literally a couple days ago there were so many red units running rampant, and yellow units, USV specifically, were just cowering in fear because of the dominance of red units. And then out of nowhere, this dude Gohan drops out of nowhere and then completely shuts that down and throws all these red units in the bin. It's pretty crazy. I do think that UI Goku is definitely going to see some resurgence, especially during Legends Festival. We might get a new God Ki unit, preferably maybe an Ultra God Ki unit, but even an LF might be good. But we'll just have to wait and see for when that comes. I do think he's still very good in terms of, playstyle, but I think his teams are definitely what's holding him back. So yeah, that's that. Then we move on to number 8, and it's going to be Shining Slash Super Saiyan Trunks, LF, of course. Now, I remember when this guy dropped, everyone was saying, just watch his value skyrocket when Beast Gohan comes out, and it actually did. It skyrocketed, right? He fits very well on the Hybrids team. He's a very good third option because the two main options are solidified. You're not changing those two, so he's a very good third option. As well as him being green is very good against Beast Gohan, of course. And then he's just overall a very good unit. It's just his biggest downside, or I guess flaw, was not really a flaw. It's just how the meta was. But his biggest shortcoming was before Beast Gohan's release, Cooler was running rampant everywhere, right? And him being a Super Saiyan wasn't a very good thing, right? So that's why he kind of dropped. But, with Cooler being less and less common, Beast Gohan more and more common, this guy's value has definitely shot up significantly. Moving on to number 7, we have Revival Gohan. Now, Revival Gohan, this guy probably is, at this point, one of the best aging, if not should have the best aging unit of all time in this game's history. I think it's close, it's him, and a close second would be Ultra Gogeta. This guy, man, the Revival is just so powerful. He still does to this day very, very good damage post-Revival. He gives, support, he heals, he does a lot of things in his kit. He has really good utility. He's just overall like a very solid option. And of course, right now, movies, hybrid stocks are all up in the air. So it just makes sense for him to be higher up on the tier list, right? So he is kind of held back in the regard that his first life is complete paper. You can just disintegrate that thing in 2 cards by any meta relevant unit. I'm not even lying. So that's why he's kind of held back from being in the higher ranks. But despite that, he's very good. And of course, we all know how useful Revival is, especially with no anti-Revival units running around in the meta right now. So it's very, very useful. So moving on to number 6. I think this is where it gets a bit, controversial. Maybe, I don't know. But number 6 is going to be, where is he? Ultra Gogeta. He was, I believe, prior to Gohan's release, probably at number 2, arguably number 3. But now I think he's pretty comfortably number 6. And not gonna lie, I feel like I might value him higher than what a lot of people have him at. Just because, actually maybe not. I think number 6 is like an average. Obviously, all his main teams, pretty much Beast Gohan's replaced him on. Actually, Saiyan / Fusion Warriors, he still works there, obviously, but those teams are just not as good as what Gohan's teams is. His best team was movies, of course, because he's paired alongside Cooler and Ultra Broly. So that was definitely his best team. And of course, he's been replaced there by Gohan. So he's definitely going to take a couple seats back. Fusion Warrior hasn't gotten a significant buff, obviously, since Super Vegito. And I would say they're not, up there. They're not at the same level as, movies, hybrids, or anything like that, right? If I were to rank Fusion Warriors, where would I put them in the team tier list? Where did I put them in my list I made a couple of days ago, or a week ago? I forgot, but I think they're still top 5, maybe like number 4, maybe, I think. We'll have to take a look at that, but I think at number 6 he's a good spot because just the units above him still hold a bit more value to him than him right now. But don't let that distract you from the fact that this dude is just absolutely cracked, right? The lock-in is still very useful. Type neutral, lock-in, type neutral, and gaining an ultimate last man. Those are just things in a person's kit that will never age out. That's impossible for it to age out, and it's probably one of the main reasons why he's been so relevant for so long, right? He's going to age. I mean, he's already aging absolutely perfectly, and I think he's He honestly, he might still be top 10 by the time. I wouldn't say maybe. I wouldn't say maybe not top 10 till anniversary. Just by the rate of power creep, I don't think he'll be top 10 by the time of anniversary. But who knows? This guy has been surprising us and everyone for quite a while, and he might just continue doing that. So moving on to number 5. This was a hard choice because I was torn on whether I wanted to put this unit number 5 or number 4. Ultimately, I stayed with number 5, and it's going to be Ultra Super Vegito. And I guess we could talk. Actually, I want to keep this for a bit later, but we're going to talk about number 4 in a bit. But Ultra Super Vegito, I was really this close to putting him number 4. Just similarly to the Ultra Gogeta, his teams are what's holding him back from being higher on the list, right? I'm not saying, when I say his teams hold him back, I'm just saying in the perspective of him being higher up on the list. But being number 5 overall is not a bad thing whatsoever. It's just that the people on top have, either better kids, either better teams, or just overall, just both of them together, right? So, Fusion Warriors, like I said, they're not the best team right now. Individually, Super Vegito still is a top unit. I would say probably top 3 unit individually. But it's just the units on top are kind of all on the same team. I'm pretty sure you guys know what team I'm talking about, movies. And they're just running rampant everywhere on PvP. Like, it's really hard for you to face a team that is not movies or even recently hybrids right now with gohan and stuff. It's really hard. So like I said, I was contemplating on putting him number 4 because number 4, you might be shocked, but number 4, I'm gonna have LF Cooler on the list. Now, the reason why I wanted to put Super Vegito right now above Cooler is because Super Vegito's value has kind of come back since Cooler is pretty much not seen in PvP. I'm not even joking when I say this. I'm pretty sure I can count the number of times I've faced a Cooler on one hand, not even 2 hands, on one hand since Beast Gohan's release. He has completely disappeared, and it's insane. Like, whoa. This dude was in 95% of the matches prior to Beast Gohan's release, and now he's just nowhere to be seen. It's actually insane. And for that reason, I was going to put Super Vegito above him. But obviously, Cooler's kit is still ridiculous. I still think Super Vegito's kit is better than Cooler's. The only thing that made Cooler so oppressive is obviously, first of all, he's on the best team. The top units at the time of release was Super Saiyan units. And he has the lock-in. The lock-in was pretty much what was holding him there. If you look at it strictly off of their kits, I mean, the lock-in is a pretty big part of his kit. But I would say other people's kits are a bit better. He just had a good kit and a very good team as well. So I was contemplating on putting him a little bit lower. I wouldn't even fault you for putting him one spot lower, but I don't think he should go any lower than that. I think number 4 is a good spot for him. So yeah, I mean, dude, I hate this unit. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys already know how much I hated this unit. He's easily the most annoying unit they've ever released for me personally. And yeah, man, like, we're gonna leave it at that. He's at number 4. Then moving on to number 3. Again, this might shock you. Might think this guy would be a bit higher, but we're gonna have Ultra Broly at number 3. I remember when this guy released, everyone was calling him mid, trash, and all this stuff. And he is showing everyone that he's an absolute monster. I wish I had more copies of him. I only have him at 5 stars. I really wish I had him at that higher star threshold. But dude, this guy is very, very annoying to face. His unique gauge is actually pretty annoying. Being able to reduce your gauge, destroy your cards, basically stopping your combo whenever he fills his unique gauge. Very, very annoying. His blue card hits like a truck. He actually does really good damage himself. He's probably one of the more tankier units in the game. There aren't many, but he's probably one of them. And he just overall very good. Main purple, I would say, on the movies team, which is the best team in the game. Synergizes super well with Beast Gohan. He's just that guy. Broly is just that guy. I do wish he had a bit better animations, but it is what it is. I think number 3 is a good spot to have him at. You can argue once again, like, he can be higher. Maybe even I don't think people would argue him lower. I think you can argue him being one spot higher, but top 3 is, I think, a perfect spot to have Broly at. Then we come over to this. No one expected this when this unit dropped. I don't know what happened. Where did they go wrong? Number 2 is going to be Pan. What the hell did they do? Pan is just what the hell did they do with Pan, man? It's like they took, first of all, it goes without saying that this is easily the best support unit that we've ever seen in this game's history. She takes elements from every single support unit that we've got, every single top-notch support unit we've got in the past, all together in one kit, and then they spawn this little devil. She has, Vados' sub count reduction. She has her buffs on switching that stacks to make uncancelable buffs. She gives health restoration. She locks main abilities on green cards. Like, what the fuck? What the hell? On a green card? She does too much. She locks you even when she lands a hit and stuff. Oh, was it land a hit or was she? I think it was actually when she lands a hit, which is pretty. It's just she does so much, and obviously the biggest reason why she's even this high is because she's paired alongside another unit. I don't think there's any point in holding this one out. Beast Gohan is obviously number 1, and I don't think it's really close. You could argue that there's even a gap between Z tier and best tier. Beast Gohan is just that guy, man. He just dropped and completely revolutionized PvP. Okay, no, that's not the right word. I guess destroyed PvP. Despite him being the best unit, I don't think he's anywhere near as toxic as Cooler, despite what some people might say of him. Cooler is on another level of toxic, but this guy, he's just oppressive as hell. And obviously that's why Pan is this high, right? Because she's the best support in the game by a long shot. She's also extremely tanky because she has a new ability in her kit that reduces the art's power of your opponent, which is an ability that we've never seen before. And this might be, like many people have mentioned, this might be how they move forward with defensive units, because, before their release, defenses wasn't very prevalent in the meta. Everyone was doing crazy damage, and so it was almost impossible to be a tanking unit. But Pan somehow does that. She's also, did I forget to mention, she goes type neutral for 60 counts on main ability, which is insane, is considering there's all these Beast Gohans running around, right? She's just like the absolute perfect partner for Beast Gohan. I don't remember the last time there's been such a perfect pairing of 2 units. You could argue Ultra Gogeta and Ultra Super Vegeta were a good pairing, which I would say they were. But in terms of like support and offensive unit, I think the last time we've had such a great pairing was Angel Vegeta and Zenkai Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You could argue maybe before then you could argue it was Vados and Gogeta Blue, but I think Angel Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Goku is a better situation to compare to. But they're that, but magnified multiple times over. It's crazy. And what's even crazier is that this unit will be given to every player that logs in for 7 days during this campaign, because she's a free-to-play unit. They're gonna give out 600 Z power through the login bonus, which is a login bonus unit is number 2 in the game. Like, what the hell? All these hype units, MUI, Dragon Fist Goku, Ultra Super Vegeta, that were dropped during the anniversary 4 months ago, have been fodderized by Pan, man. Like, that is insane. Like, I don't know, man. But this only begs the question, like, what the fuck is going to be during Legends Festival? Is Gohan gonna become the cooler of, like, right now? Is Gohan gonna become cooler during Legends Festival due to the new units that they dropped? Like, I don't know what they're thinking with how much power creep has been going on. Like, I think it's a bit too much. No, I don't think it's a bit. It's way too much, man. It's way too much. But here we are. Beast Gohan number 1, and this is my top 10. Drop a comment letting me know if you agree, disagree, where you would place certain units, what you guys would have as your top 3, top 5. I'm definitely interested to know what you guys have to say. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe, because that's just so important, so don't forget. Other than that, have a great day. See ya.